MERLIN stands for Minority Ethnic Role Models for Learning and Inspiration. It's a Business in the Community programme. Business in the Community has more than 850 companies in its membership. It works to promote responsible business practice. MERLIN's aim is to inspire and raise aspirations of Black, Asian and minority ethnic young people by introducing adults of similar ethnic background who would serve as role models and inspirational examples.
I've met with great successful people who have helped motivate me. For example, I was once told the sky isn't the limit. Past sky is space and space goes on forever. And that you can achieve anything as long as you work hard.
In this DVD, we will meet 3 Asian Muslim role models.
Service, please.
Set within a landmark London building in the inner city area of Borough is this upmarket restaurant. It serves the best of British food and is run and owned by Iqbal Wahab.
British food has traditionally been undervalued, the same way that Indian restaurants have. And so, in a way, it's the same mission. It's like upgrade the experience. So, in Borough Market, we have fantastic setting, a beautiful building, and a great place to celebrate British produce and to raise the game of British food.
Iqbal's family came from Bangladesh and settled in South London. He went to the local state school.
I was getting into trouble all the time. I was being brought home by police. I was a serious bad boy. And so school and motivation of academic qualification or professional success, they weren't on my agenda. Mischief was on my agenda, that was it.
At the age of 16, Iqbal had to decide which way his life would go.
I remember very clearly one thing happening when I went to apply to a sixth form college to do A-levels, and they gave me my report from my school, and they said, hold on to this and wait for your interview. So naturally I was curious as to what it said, and I opened it up, and the careers officer had said, he thinks he's going to get A-levels, but he won't even pass his O-levels. I wouldn't waste time with him. And I'll never forget that, because at that moment, if there was any ever doubt if I wanted to do something in my life, if there was anything that made me change from the bad ways in which I'd grown up and to want to do something else, it was to prove Mr. Williams, that careers officer, wrong.
This determination to change his life led him to university and journalism. He wrote about food and restaurants. His interest led him to spot a gap in the market. He opened and ran a hugely successful Indian restaurant, and then a few years later he moved on, taking a big risk by crossing over from the world of Indian food. He set up a traditional British restaurant, which has become extremely successful.
This didn't happen by chance, what's happened to me. It happened because I worked hard at it, I had a plan and I stuck to it. The one thing that I always consider I would have had, whether I grew up today or when I did grow up, is the importance in believing in yourself. Don't let other people make judgments about you. They may well do, you don't listen to them. You drive yourself on what you want to do in life and not what others will have you do. Don't let others force you down one line when you want to go another. If you want to go this way, go this way. If everyone says turn left and you want to go straight, you go straight.
Sam Latif works as an IT manager in a large multinational company. Born and raised in Glasgow, she's had to overcome many personal and professional challenges.
People's perception of me when they first meet me, they presume perhaps that, she's blind, a woman, maybe she's not as good as a white male. However, that very quickly changes when people begin to see the results that you deliver.
Sam became gradually blind when she was about 12 years old. She went to a normal school but had to struggle to keep up with her class.
I always had to find ways of getting around. For example, asking people to read my textbook to me, or sitting for hours in the evening trying to read a book. And when I was at school, I was always trying to make sure that I was with the cool people in the class.
Sam did a degree in marketing and business law and then applied to join Procter Gamble. But that meant moving to London, something her parents were reluctant for her to do.
I didn't tell them that I was leaving. I actually just consulted with them and talked to them about the possibility of moving. And only when I got both my mum and dad's, reassurance that they were happy with me moving, that I then agreed to take the job at P&G and then made arrangements to move down. No Asian girl that we were aware of from Scotland had ever left home and lived away. Definitely, we didn't know anyone who was blind who was able to live by themselves, so it was a big risk that I was taking. For the first maybe 1 or 2 years, I found it quite scary, to be quite honest. I didn't have the knowledge and experience of working in a big company, how to network with people. Over the years, though, it's become extremely easy and fun and challenging as well.
After 8 years at P&G, Sam is responsible for selling a number of brands on the internet and is in charge of a team of 12 people.
What my husband says to me is that I often look like a swan, so, smooth on the surface, but when you look underneath the water, the swan is actually struggling with their legs. I always, like to make it look like it's easy and just get on with things and slowly find new ways and better ways of doing things.
Aaqil Ahmed is one of the most powerful Muslim executives working in the British media. Born and brought up in Lancashire, he now works for Channel 4 TV as a commissioning editor for religious and multicultural programmes.
On a personal level, being a Muslim in the media actually can be very positive. I've been very fortunate to be involved in some of the most instrumental, I suppose, programmes about Islam in the media from a positive light, and it's been quite a big journey. From the mid-early 90s, I did the first ever film about the investigation into halal meat, which changed how the halal meat industry in Britain works. I was in charge of a big season on Islam for the BBC, which was everything from the first documentary on the Hajj through to, a home front special on Islamic art and design.
A career in TV is not what Aaqil set out to achieve. At school, what he really wanted to do was draw.
I used to draw record sleeves, I used to draw football players, I used to draw pop stars, and that's all I wanted to do. And when I was around about 14, it was explained to me what a graphic designer was, somebody who designs, CD covers and magazines and books, and that's what I wanted to be.
A career in the arts is not what many Asian families would have wanted for their kids. How did Aaqil's family react to his ambition?
Interestingly enough, my dad was quite supportive. All he said to me was, you better not fail. So because he'd put that kind of faith in me, and you have to imagine this is 1985 I'm talking about now, so when I went for my interviews at art school, one of the art colleges I went to be interviewed at, the first question they asked was, why do you want to be a graphic designer? There are no Asian graphic designers, which is a good thing to say, funnily enough, at that time, not the kind of thing you could say now.
Although he joined art school to study graphic design, Aaqil developed an interest in photography and film. He joined the BBC as a researcher and rapidly rose up the career ladder.
I'm the son of a market trader from Bolton. I'm not somebody whose family have worked in the media. I'm not somebody who's got a degree from Oxbridge. I'm a guy with an arts-based degree, and so in effect everything that I've achieved actually seems wrong. So it is all possible, and the more Muslims that get involved in the mainstream of industry, whatever that may be, it's incredibly important. If we don't do it, we'll be left behind. And one of the key things that I don't want my own children and anybody's children to do is to be left behind.
So having risen to the top of his profession, has his ethnic or religious background been a barrier in his career?
In terms of being able to impact on people's lives, I think, you know, when I stop working in television, I can be really proud of what I've done. So to be a Muslim in the media doesn't have to be negative. I think that's a big positive. You know, it's not been the only part of my job, but it's one part of my job that I'm incredibly proud of.
As Iqbal said, this didn't happen by chance. It's the importance of believing in yourself. Don't let other people force you down one line when you want to go down another. It may not have been easy, but all these people stuck to their plans, and in the end they got further than they could have imagined. Is there any reason why you should not do the same? If you're from a school or a business and would like to find out how to be involved in or volunteer for the MERLIN project, please contact us. MERLIN is funded by the London Councils.